Hello, I'm making, I guess, a brake flare. This usually for a double flare you put it in the height of this, but that looks a little bit wide to me. Um, and down over here, I got another one, the same size, that the little tab's broken off, but it's way, way, way less. So the last one I made, I went just a smidgen less than that, and of course a little more than this one. I don't know why that's. Um, yeah, but right there, just a smidgen less than that. It's a little bit of judgment. What matters here is these plates are exactly even because there's a little tiny bit of play in it. Yeah, it feels good. And after I cut it off, I reamed it out a little tiny bit with this tool. So anyway, I'm kind of tired from yesterday, but I had such good luck on the last brake line, I thought I'd do this one. Plus, maybe put it on video. This is, I paid $100 for it. I think it's around half price. Somebody was selling it on Marketplace. A year ago or so, when I was doing the Oldsmobile, my understanding on these wasn't up to date. I had one that was years old and could not do steel lines. It could not do steel lines. It could do copper, but it couldn't do steel. But anyway, this missed. It's a little awkward. I should have it in the vise. This cone floats, so you kind of have to eye it up and make sure that that double flange thing is parallel with this thing, and that cone is not on a slant. You can see that's slightly crooked, so you keep moving it around until it looks perfectly straight. Because if it doesn't, it'll bend, it'll make the flange go sideways, which is no good. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, I'm going to put this down here. Actually, I'll put it in the other way. See if I can do this. Yeah, that little collar is a little bit crooked, so I'm going to loosen this off. Doesn't look too bad now. Yeah, it looks a lot straighter this time. Yeah, that cone, that double flange has to be perfectly straight with this. It went a little crooked the first time, but it looks a lot better now. As long as that cuts in straight, it should be a perfect flare. There. And I didn't drop it. Yep, that looks good. I am not a professional at this. As I said, I thought for 30 years that these didn't work because I had an old one that was all wore out. But anyway, I stand to be corrected because they do work. As long as they're good quality. And you want to come right onto it. Unless it's copper. If it's copper, don't take any pressure. But there's a reason why that rod is that small. So you don't over torque it, because that was twisting. Okay. Could be a little, I'm going to go at that again, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen this off and move my line on a 45. Like right here is where it was sitting, and I'm going to move it right here is, let me see, right there is where it was sitting, and I'm going to move it to here. Now, this good quality one might not need that done, but I want that flange just a little bit tighter, or in there just a little tiny bit more, a little bigger bevel. So I'm going to do this again. Plus I want it just a smidgen bigger, so. And this takes the burr out, but this has big enough teeth in there that I don't think it actually makes a burr. But if it does, then you can't put the little fitting down at the edge. Yeah. Yeah, it's not probably as tight as it looks. Just I'm weak. Especially after yesterday. It takes a lot of energy putting those brake lines up there. Oh, that thing fell off. That's weird. Okay, see how this turned out. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. Take my tape off here. And yeah, I would say, oh, there we are. Yeah, perfect. I reused the fittings that I took out of this and the flex lines, because you see how big that nut is? Well, the wheel cylinder is in a cubby hole, and the brake fittings that you buy are all like this, and it's hard to get the wrench in there. So I just cleaned up the original ones, took them out. This one of these I had to heat the nipple, and then I let it cool, and as it was cooling, I put this in the vise, of course, before, and when it was in the vise, I had it facing away from me, like the rubber facing away from me. Most important. But anyway, I didn't heat this. Like, never, be very cautious if you ever heat one of these, any kind of rubber grommet or a bushing or a shock or anything, because they'll blow out. The rubber will blow out the hole once that heats up, and that rubber's in there under pressure. When that heats up and gets hot, it'll blow that rubber line out like a bullet. It'll go like a mile or 2 miles in the air, like it'd go right through you. So, I heat the nut, then as it cools, I put the wrench on it and gave it a couple spins, and it came loose. And then I drilled out the broken off brake line in here and cleaned it up and wire brushed it. And I also checked them to make sure they screw in the flex line and the wheel cylinders. So anyway, there's my 2 rear brake lines made. Sorry about the video being so long, and the patience it took to get through making that brake line. But anyway, I flipped these over. I took them off. I unhooked it the other day and dropped it and flipped these over because the small coil is supposed to be at the top. And I also made a new rubber gasket on the top here. The other one was bad. But I got my new flex lines in, and now I just bend my brake line and fit it in place. Here's one of the old ones. It doesn't look like much, except for it gives a very accurate idea. Goes like that, right like that. So it gives you an idea where the original one is rooted. So I'll be using that when I make my new one. But yeah, I never showed my gas lines from this angle. I'm going to put one of these brackets right here. I'm just going to drill a hole in the middle and have the bolt that sticks through just a little bit too long, so I can put one of these pop-in rubber things off the other car here and have the bolt stick out through so I can put one nut on it. That way, at least the gas line is held up with an actual fitting, because the gas line right straight from the motor back is held up on the body by plastic clips. No clamps at all that actually hold it up. All plastic clips. So if it ever got caught, it would rip right off the car. So one of those plastic clips goes on a bolt, but the factory bolts don't stick out far enough to put a nut on, but they kind of go click, 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 and they stick on there. They come off harder, then they go on. But I'm going to drill a hole in the floor and put a bolt down through and tack weld it there so it won't turn, and make sure I don't catch anything on fire or burn anything up. And then take one of those little holder devices off one of the other cars and put it on and push it up in place, and then put a nut underneath. That way there'll be 3 or 4 there instead of 2 or 3. But anyway, see ya. Sorry for the video so long.